Listen, change is inevitable. Life is always going to throw something at you. You have to learn to embrace it because change, if you want to be honest, that's really the only constant thing in life. And to be honest, time, of course, is not really real or like, what I'm saying, every day is basically the same, but change is constant. And that is the only constant thing about life because no matter what you do, even if you stay stagnant, say if you just sat here, right, for like, let's just say for like a year, right, even though you didn't move, life is moving always. And the funny thing about that, you not moving, you're gonna probably get evicted, you're gonna get fat. See, things are going to change. Like, it's always gonna happen. Change is inevitable, right? Because that's the only constant thing in life. And it's funny because I was talking to my homegirl the other day about this same thing. I'm like, because that's one thing she was afraid of is change. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, everybody is, if you think about it, because it's scary, it's unknown. You never know. But you have to learn to realize that that's the beautiful thing about life, is that it's always evolving. It's always changing. It's never staying the same. And that's what's beautiful about it, because if you don't embrace it, then you're going to be suffering because change is inevitable. You have to learn to embrace it and the opportunities that life throws at you, even the unpredicted ones, you know. So you have to learn to embrace it, embrace the change, because growth ultimately happens when you're uncomfortable. And being comfortable, being uncomfortable is really the key when it comes to embracing change, because change is very uncomfortable. Very. I was thinking about this the other day because I'm looking at like what I do every day, and it's like, dang, this still doesn't guarantee I'll get to this specific goal, but it does guarantee I'll be successful in something. But that is scary because you could work your whole life for something and not really get that, but you could be successful in something else that you didn't even think about. So that's what makes life beautiful, but it's also scary, because that's the only thing about change, because it's so unpredictable and uncomfortable that you have to learn to embrace it and become comfortable in that uncomfortability. Because if you don't, then you're never going to grow, because you have to learn how to be comfortable being uncomfortable to grow. That's the only way to grow. Anything you wanted to do, whether that was a sport, talking to people, getting social skills, like even with me, for me to have my social skills I have today, I had to step out of my comfort zone and make myself do certain things, like start conversations, just basically say what's on my mind. Like, you have to learn how to step out of that comfortable shell and that comfortable bubble you have, because you won't grow without it. But ultimately, you can't really control what happens, but you can control how you respond to what, what I'm saying, to what happens. Because life is going to throw unpredictable things at you, like I said, and you can't control that. Like I said, I had crazy thing when I was 14. My cousin that literally lived right here next to me ended up dying, some unfortunate event, but he ended up dying. And this was like when I moved to Florida, so I was living in Florida far away, and I got that news, and it really hurt. But how I chose to respond to that was, every day I could use that as my motivation, and I could use that moment right there to teach me to value the present moment, with not only friends but family, with everything, every moment. That really taught me to purpose and value the present moment. So even though things are going to get thrown your way, don't panic. Just learn to respond to it and understand what could you learn from that moment that life is trying to throw at you and teach you. Because ultimately, that's what it's doing. It's trying to teach you something. That's why life is throwing it at your way. It's trying to teach you something. So keep in mind and be intentful, and control how you respond to the events that life throws at you. Because you could either learn from it, or you could repeat the same cycle and not learn from it and go through the same pain and suffering. So, just remember, every ending creates space for a new beginning. So just because this door closed doesn't mean that no other door is open. I promise you, when one door closes, it's about 10 other ones that open that you're not even looking at. It's basically like you're like this. You're just stuck on looking at that one closed door and it's 10 other ones right here. So, don't ever get down or sad or too in a rut about change, because you got to understand that's the beauty of life. It's going to bless you with new opportunities that you hadn't even experienced yet. So really embrace the change and learn from certain events and situations, and take it as a learning experience and use that and respond in a positive way. All right. So with that being said, embrace the change. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a blessed day. Trey out.